Bless the Lord, O my soul, blessed art thou, Lord.
Whenever I watch videos of people sharing their stories, experiencing something like sleep paralysis or encounters with evil spirits, I always use this as a guide for me to come up with questions whenever I have interviews with the exorcists. And just so happened that this month I have a few lined up with a couple of exorcists, and I really want to ask one of them about sleep paralysis. And I actually thought about asking after I watched this video.
And I start going into sleep paralysis. I'm like trying to fight it. Like I feel like something's going into my body. And at the same time, the TV, the voice, the guys are talking. All of a sudden, their voices change to demonic voices. And they start talking about me. And the one guy, so they're both demonic voices. The one demon says to the other one, he says, his name is Josh. He's from Virginia. We have to destroy him. And I'm hearing this like, this is not happening right now, but I know it's happening. And I'm fighting. I still feel like something's trying to get in my body. I'm in sleep paralysis though. And next thing I know, I'm like off the bed, hearing myself screaming, wake up the whole house. My dad comes down. My grandma's like, what's going on? And I'm like, nothing, I don't know. And I lay back down. But then all of a sudden something's telling me to kill my uncle. And I'm laying there like, what?
And one of the priests I talked to before about this was Father Winston, the exorcist from the Philippines. And we then continued to talk about the incubus and succubus spirits. But I'll try to get a commentary from one of the priests on that video of the guy talking about his experience dealing with sleep paralysis as soon as I can. For the short video this time, though, I'd like to share this clip of Father Daniel Reehil that he shared during one of his radio shows on Radio Maria. And please, if you have the time, please check Radio Maria out and do support them if you can.
I remember years ago, back when I was working in the world, I was out one evening. It was late, probably about 2 or 3 in the morning, and I went down into the subway to get the subway home. And as I went down to the platform, I looked. There's nobody on it except one man, and he turned and looked at me. And when he did, I mean, his face looked full on possessed. I could just see the evil, and I raced up those steps, and I knew that if I had stayed, that was going to be trouble for me. Those kind of things don't happen often, but when they do, it's the Holy Spirit and your guardian angel telling you, move out. You got to get out of here now. So you can see these things when they start happening to people, and it'll often happen when they approach something that's holy. So how does someone realize they have a demonic problem? It's normally because things start happening to them that they're not used to happening, and often when they approach places that are holy. So if somebody who has a demon in them is suddenly brought to Mass or goes to a holy hour or is in the presence of a sacred blessed object, that could start causing the demon irritation. And when they get irritated, they flail within the person, and the person starts experiencing trauma in their body, pain, physical pain, and starts losing control. And so that's kind of the signs of how these things happen. And it's often a friend or a family member that brings the person to the priest, because sometimes the person, if they're too far gone, they don't even know how to get free, and they need people to help them. Now, again, you must realize no one becomes possessed without some sort of a consent to evil. So you shouldn't fear this. You can't just wake up one morning and be possessed. Now, if you're dabbling in the occult, you could wake up one morning possessed, so you don't want that to happen. But even a lust for power or wealth or fame can be open doors that invite the devil in.
And I mentioned Father Winston earlier in this video, and him being from the Philippines, I always love it when he shared cases or things he encountered over there, and giving us the opportunity to learn about how it is in other parts of the world. Listen to this.
In certain cultures, even in the Filipino culture, people do not want to pass by a row of trees, for example, a row of trees, and they're afraid to pass that area because they think there are beings there, enchanted beings. And so what do they do out of the fear? They offer. So that offering is an idolatrous practice, superstitious practice. So that would now become an opening. People who would, there are here in where I'm assigned in this province, there is a small barrio or a place, a small hamlet that, that the road going to that place is a cemetery. So that's the only road going to that place. So nobody wants to go home already dark because they're afraid that because they're going to pass by the cemetery and they might see something, but they cannot help it if they need to pass. So they bring in something to appease the spirits so that the spirits will not uh, manifest themselves, right? So that is it. And when you think about it, in Asian culture, we have fireworks. And what is the purpose of fireworks during New Year? To drive out evil spirits. That's it. We just make it fun because of the fireworks, but actually that is the original intention behind the fire. So you do something bizarre in order to cast out something that is bizarre.
And for the last clip that I'd like to include in the short video this time is Father Winston's answer to my question. If one is somehow possessed by the demons and they never go to any exorcist for help, for deliverance, will they be possessed for the rest of their lives?
If and when they would come to a Catholic priest who happens to be an exorcist, then the exorcist knows what to do. In an ordinary situation with an ordinary Catholic priest, probably the priest would say some prayers and bless the kid, and it would be over. But if they did not go to a Catholic church or a Catholic priest or Catholic minister, and would the possession continue? In our experience, even with Catholics who were not brought to Catholic places, they were brought to the shamans, for example. It seems that the healing occurs. So when they're brought to the witch doctor and the victims get healed. But is that a real healing? That is the question. Or the demon or the spirit just kept quiet until the next attack. And in our observation and experience, that is the reason why a story, a narrative is important, because you want to see if they had occult exposures in the past, no matter how far back it goes, childhood, infancy. Do they have these occult exposures, or were occult rituals done to the kids? And if the answer is positive, yes, then you have an opening. We call this a spiritual opening to the occult, which means that in these cases, the occult spirits have a hold on the person. It's not active, it's quiet, but it's moving in the background. So your question, will they remain possessed? Probably not. But the spirit already has a hold on them, so that the next time around, because of this occult opening, it's easy for them to get possessed again. And we have seen this several times in the provinces. Or they can be easy targets of curses. So or sicknesses that are spiritual in nature, because there's already a spiritual opening in this sense.
Well, I guess that is all for the video this time. Again, thanks so much for your time spent here with us, and hopefully all of you have learned a lot from this one. Much love to all of you, and may God bless you.